All right, let's dive right into this explainer. I'm going to be your mentor today, guiding you through the exact web basics and networking concepts you need to totally crush your upcoming computer science and telecom recruitment exams. Whether you're literally just starting out with web tech or you just need a really solid brush up before test day, my goal is to make these foundational concepts absolutely crystal clear for you. To make sure you can rapidly recall all of this, we've structured this syllabus into 6 themed blocks: web and internet basics, client-server architecture, the DNS workflow, security and protocols, databases and app tiers, and then we'll wrap it all up with a rapid exam review. Okay, let's kick things off with Block 1, Web and Internet Basics. So we need to start by clearing up a massive exam trap: confusing the internet with the World Wide Web. Honestly, so many students lose easy points here because they just assume the two terms mean the exact same thing. They don't. The crucial difference is that the internet is the physical infrastructure. The actual cables, routers, and networks connecting billions of devices globally using TCP/IP protocols. The World Wide Web, on the other hand, which was invented by Tim Berners-Lee back in 1989, is just one specific service running on top of that physical internet. It's essentially a massive system of interlinked hypertext documents that you browse using Chrome or Firefox. Think of it like this: the internet is the highway system, and the World Wide Web is just a delivery service that happens to drive on those roads. Moving right along, let's hit Block 2, Client-Server Architecture. Now that we actually know what the web is, how is data requested and delivered across it? Well, think of it literally like buying milk from your local shopkeeper. You, making the request through your phone or laptop, are the front-end client. This is the presentation tier, built with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. It's what you actually see and click on. Now the shopkeeper, that's the back-end server. It processes your request, handles the application logic, and checks the inventory. And the milk they hand over to you is the data that they've securely retrieved from their storage database. The client asks, the server responds. Simple as that. Which brings us perfectly to Block 3, the DNS workflow. So you make a request, but how does your browser actually find that one specific server out of billions of devices out there? Your computer doesn't just magically know where a website lives when you type in a URL. That's where the domain name system, or DNS, comes in. It acts exactly like the internet's phone book, translating a human-readable URL like jcasesgb.n step by step into a numerical IP address that computers can actually understand and route. It's like a relay race. First, your browser checks its own local cache. If it's not there, it asks a resolver, which then queries the root name server, then the top-level domain server, until finally the authoritative name server hands back the exact IP address. All right, so the IP address is found. What's next? Well, the client and server don't just start throwing data at each other immediately. They establish a reliable connection using what's called a three-way TCP handshake. It's basically a highly structured three-step greeting. The client sends a SYN packet, basically saying, "Hello, I'd like to synchronize." The server replies with a SYN-ACK, which means, "I hear you, are you there?" And the client finishes with an ACK saying, "Yep, I'm here, let's talk." Okay, connection established. Let's head into Block 4, Security and Protocols. Now, we need to look at the exact rules governing how that conversation happens. And you absolutely want to pay attention here, especially to the distinction between HTTP and HTTPS. Definitely underline those port numbers, 80 and 443, because exam boards literally love them. Standard HTTP uses port 80 and transfers your data in plain text. It's fast, sure, but it is completely insecure. Anyone snooping on the network can read it. HTTPS, however, uses port 443 and wraps your data in SSL or TLS encryption layers. This makes it completely unreadable to hackers, which is exactly why HTTPS is mandatory for banking, e-commerce, and government portals handling any kind of sensitive citizen data. Next up is Block 5, Databases and App Tiers. So the front end makes it look pretty, the back end handles the logic, but we need somewhere safe to actually organize the data, right? Enter databases. Whether it's a relational one like MySQL or NoSQL like MongoDB, they all manage data using 4 basic operations we call CRUD. Think of it exactly like organizing paperwork in a physical office filing cabinet. Create is like starting a brand new blank file. Read is opening that file to look at it, which, by the way, uses the HTTP GET method. Update is scribbling new text onto the document. And delete is simply throwing the file into the trash. Grasping this whole CRUD concept is incredibly fundamental to understanding how back-end data works. Now, depending on what a piece of software actually does, this whole architecture scales up or down. On the simpler side, you have a one-tier architecture. This is a program running entirely on your local laptop. The user interface, the logic, and the database are all crammed onto one standalone machine. No internet required. But modern web apps, they almost always use a three-tier architecture. This fully separates the presentation layer, the application layer, and the database layer across entirely different servers on the internet. Separating it out like this is what makes modern apps so secure, so easy to maintain, and massively scalable. And finally, we've made it to Block 6, Rapid Exam Review. All right, put your study hats on. Seriously, take a mental screenshot of this list right now. These 10 acronyms are the absolute building blocks of web terminology. You need to know that URL stands for Uniform Resource Locator and that HTML is Hypertext Markup Language. Having these memorized by heart will save you so much precious time on exam day. Do not let a simple expansion question trip you up. Next, we've got a cheat sheet for common networking status codes. When your browser talks to a server, the server always replies with a number to tell you how it went. Seeing a 200 means everything is okay and totally successful. But as we all know, getting a 404 means the requested resource is not found or missing. Make sure you keep these specific numbers in your back pocket for sure. Okay, pop quiz time. Let's see what actually stuck from earlier. Do you remember who famously invented the World Wide Web back in 1989? I'll give you a second. Did you guess Tim Berners-Lee? If so, you totally nailed it. Easy marks right there. And remember, he invented the web, which runs on top of the physical internet infrastructure. Question 2. We talked about how different protocols use specific doors or ports. So, what is the default network port used for secure HTTPS connections? Boom, it's port 443. Keep in mind that's entirely separate from the highly insecure port 80, which is just standard unencrypted HTTP. Last one. Looking at that protocol again, what exactly does the S at the very end of HTTPS stand for, especially when we are talking about keeping things like banking details safe? Yep, it stands for secure. It means the data is leveraging secure sockets layer or transport layer security encryption so that absolutely no one can intercept your sensitive info. It locks your data down tight between your browser and the server. As you head into test day, just remember that every single click you make initiates this incredible invisible journey. Your data is translated, routed, and retrieved across thousands of servers and secure protocols in literally the blink of an eye. But knowing how many interconnected pieces are involved, it really leaves you with an interesting thought. Just how safe is your personal data on the network you're using to watch this explainer right now? Good luck with your studies. Keep these structures in mind, and you are going to absolutely crush your exam.